What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2019 animated film, The Addams Family. Before I begin this review, I want to first tell you all that I'm not exactly well versed in who or what the Addams Family actually is. I'm sure I saw the movies when I was really young, or at least a part of them, but I really don't remember anything about them other than some of their names and of course the theme song. So for the most part, my experience with this arguably dysfunctional family was mostly a blind one. So was this a good introductory course for this ghoulish family, or should we stick to the classics? Let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day: ghoulish, strangely diabolical, or cruel. The Addams Family centers on the titular Addams family, which consists of the strange, monstrous, and possibly post-mortem relatives that see the world a bit differently than everybody else. That is, where their preferred weather outside is doom and gloom. When a famous realtor offers to fix up their home and they refuse, the realtor begins an all-out war against the Addams family, who are busy prepping for a family reunion. My plot synopsis kind of generalizes and glosses over what's happening in the movie, which is honestly a lot. It has quite a bit of focus on every character as they're each going through something independently different. Pugsley has an intrinsic path of self-worth as he doesn't believe he can perform a certain ritual in a way that's expectant of him. Wednesday is going through an experimental phase of trying to be happy like people in the town below, basically rebelling against their depressing family. The realtor is trying to keep everybody happy in a way that she can control, and the Addams family home threatens her whole view, and the parents, Gomez and Morticia, are both prepping for the big family reunion. Lots of stuff is happening, and a majority of it is mostly combined, but I had a hard time distinguishing who the literary protagonist was supposed to be, or main character at that matter. But that's because both the realtor group and the Addams family group are trying to do something different, and they both sense value in what they're doing. Usually that's how you decipher who the protagonist is. Beyond that, you have two characters that meet, are very different from one another, and they influence each other to change. The dark one becomes lighter while the lighter one gets darker. From a literary standpoint, that's some crazy mirroring. It's pretty cool, but it also doesn't communicate much to the audience. Nothing physically changed, they just swapped roles. Whenever you have something like this, the balance and the pacing starts to get a little bit weird because it's kind of failing at its literary communication methods. You don't want to risk anything that could possibly be construed as confusing, especially for a kid's movie like this. But being a comedy helped it out in the end because people are more concerned about the humor in comedies than the story itself. These are funny characters that see the world in a crazy alternative fashion. Just looking at the script, you're talking about puns after puns after puns about creepy stuff, like when they create a bridge of spiders and they cross it and say, "I call this surfing the web." Or, "This is the wine cellar. It's where we keep our best wines," before opening a giant barrel and hearing wines. Get it? Yeah, dad jokes. Some people like them, some people roll their eyes with it, but it is a kid's movie, and I think that's rather typical to see, don't you? I don't know, I found it funny enough at times, but certainly nothing clever, and certainly not the best film to be introduced to the Addams family. Even though I don't know much about the TV show or movies, I have a gut feeling that this movie is only a fraction of what those had to offer. The nice thing is that it does make me interested to someday go back and watch them. Another thing I wanted to mention about the Addams family is the animation isn't terrible, but it's also not the best I've ever seen either. I wish I'd seen it in 3D though, as even though it's not necessary, it would have been fun. There was a lot of focus on things with depth in mind, from camera movements to spiders that drop down from beyond the top of the screen. The experience as a whole would have been better in 3D, and I missed the mark on that. So keep that in mind. If you have the ability to watch it in 3D, please do. I don't know, my rating for the Addams Family turns out to be 68%, 68 out of 100 possible stars, granting it the letter grade of D. It's a relatively high D score at that. Looking at my film DNA report, the other films from 2019 that closely resemble this movie are Netflix's recent Six Underground when it came down to the acting, characters, casting, importance, and chemistry. And when it comes down to how entertaining it is, you're looking at the Angry Birds movie 2, Ugly Dolls, and Disney Plus's Noelle. So that's how entertaining the Addams Family is. Watchable, but nothing game-changing. Anyways, fellas, I would like to hear your thoughts on the Addams Family. Are you a big fan of the old show or films? And does this movie match up to the spirit of those classics? Let me know below. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review and would like to see some more like it. Hit the thumbs up button because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon because that helps notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!